Welcome, everyone. My name is Sandra Gonzalez, and I'm the instructor for the online course. Congratulations for making it this far. I know it's been a long 2 weeks, but we are in the home stretch. It's not too late for those of you, if you are falling behind, just get your discussions posted to Moodle. And for those of you who are completely done with the course, please keep checking back and replying to your classmates' discussions. Okay, the part of the benefit of all of this, of the online course, is a chance for you to meet and connect with each other before the actual 3-day conference. You never know what will come out of all these relationships with VWise. There have been a lot of really long-term friendships and professional relationships to come out of this. So I encourage you to continue to connect with one another in the discussion forums. Okay, I do have the link for the Google Hangout. I'm going to wait to post it until after I've gone through all the slides, okay? It's just a little bit easier that way so I can get through all of the content without forgetting what I'm talking about without having to mute people. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat room because Deanna is here with us, and she's going to monitor those questions. Can everyone see my slides so far? Okay, let me just check and make sure that it's coming up on the YouTube channel. Okay, great. So these past 2 weeks, we've talked a lot about the industry research and market analysis. So we're going to actually move a little bit further ahead and talk about some general questions that I see pop up, as well as talking about the value chain. All right, doing business as. I don't know if you are familiar with this. I think some of you are already doing this, having a DBA. The reason I mentioned this is because I know some of you have multiple business ideas, which I think is great. It's good to be able to validate them as you're moving forward, without investing all of your resources into one and not knowing whether the other one's going to work. So doing business as, which is a DBA, allows you to operate your business under your trade name. It's a fictitious name, basically, and it's something that you would register with your state so that you can accept payment for it under your fictitious name. So the example I'm going to use are the car dealerships. They all fall under the general their general corporate name, which is registered federally, basically, but they may have a fictitious name for their local dealership. Okay, or like in my case, I needed a way to separate out my different programs. One is for K through 12, and then this one for entrepreneurs was just something that just came up. So even though they all fall under my under my industry of education, they target two completely separate audiences. So they are both DBAs, and the advantage to this is that I can accept payment for each of them through my different accounts. And I talked to your bank about it because they let me set up DBAs, one DBA per bank account. So if you have like a checking and a savings, you can do a DBA to just a checking and a DBA to the savings. So it kind of simplifies your bookkeeping and record keeping. So over here, you have some really great resources. So I encourage you to check it out, the SBA, and then a guide from Intuit. This is actually QuickBooks. And then they're all hyperlinked. All you need to do is just click on them. And this is a really good article from Small Business Trends that will describe this more. I know I'm going through this really fast, but there will be an attorney present from DLA Piper. Isn't that right, Deanna? And she can type that into the chat room. So I encourage you to reach out to that representative while you are there at Pittsburgh. They're going to have office hours just like this, and then you can ask him or her your specific questions for your company. Okay?
Yeah, and they'll be able to see that in the program. They'll be able to see exactly who it is, what their expertise is, what table they're sitting at, and we'll have someone there to help guide them with who to speak to. So
excellent. Okay, so definitely take advantage of that. All right, so we covered DBAs. Now let's talk about value. We've been talking about niches all week, but what you really need to know about your niche is what kind of value that you can deliver to them that will translate into profits for you. So value is defined from the customer's perspective. It's whatever they find valuable about your services or your products. And it can be anything. It can be convenience, quality, service, or price. And this is basically how you're going to compete. And the trick is knowing exactly what it is that they want. If it's convenient, maybe you need a mobile service, or I'm thinking of our healthcare practitioners. Maybe the convenience is offering online services like Keisha with her licensed counseling, and then who is our lactation consultant? Oh, I'm so sorry, I can't even remember all this. But we have a lot of really good uh, business ideas just in this class alone, and a lot of them are consultants. So convenience, telehealth, mobile services. Okay, it's whatever they want. Quality, the example I'm going to use for quality is Land's End. They guarantee their quality to the point where they will accept returns back from whenever you bought it. Okay, I know somebody who's bought a backpack. It was a diaper bag, a backpack from them. They exchanged it 3 times and the zipper kept breaking. And then finally, they just gave her back her money. But because they did that, she is a loyal customer. So those are things that you're going to need to consider. And then service. I'm specifically thinking about our contractors here. Do you deliver all of your services on time and within budget? Because that's going to be a big differentiator for you from your competition. Okay, and then price. This really depends on what you're doing. If it's highly personalized, like if you are an attorney or an accountant, then clearly the price is going to go up. If you are mass manufacturing a product and your customers buy from Walmart, then the price is going to have to be lower. But you're going to have to understand how you do that, or what it is that your customers want. Okay, so that is value. It's based on what the customers want. So let's go through some examples of value-added activities based on your industry. So again, if you are a service-based industry, it's about the professionalism. Okay, so like Megan with her acupuncture, she's gonna people are going to her because she offers that specialized service, but also because she offers that high degree of professionalism too. Okay, that's what's going to give her repeat business. Same thing for all of our coaches, Surwa and Rolanda. Like, how is it that you're going to get that repeat business? It's based on your professionalism, your I can't think of a better word for this, how you appear to your customers, that you care about them, you're providing something personalized. Okay, that's the added activity for this industry. Now, if you are a product-based industry, some of the value added activities can be American made. It can also be made in, and then name your state. Okay, Alaska is big into this because they need to grow more businesses to bring in that revenue. Georgia has the same program. So check with your state and see if that's something that you can qualify for and get that certification so you can put that seal all over your website. Okay, if you're a nonprofit, what is it that your donors and sponsors value? Let me see. Oh, okay. I know who it is. It's Wynette. Let me double check before I say this out loud. Okay, Wynette has a prison outreach transition center. So she's going to build relationships with, I want to say it's the parole board officers, because they're the ones who are going to give her business. I did this with somebody who was she was into recidivism. They're going to do an in-home, or not, it was basically a residential transition center, but that's where she was going to get her customers from. They were going to be direct referrals. So what is it that you're going to offer, to these sponsors, donors, or people who are going to give you business? The other example for the service industry could be just your overall sales packages. Maybe you're going to do a flat fee. Dawn Kennedy is going to be doing this with her financial services. If you're an attorney for doing contracts and anything else, it could be a retainer, or just whatever your different levels of coaching packages are. And then for the product-based industry, for those of you who've been around as long as I have, do you remember when Gateway had this special packaging for computers that look like a cow, little things like that. It's all about your branding so that you can be easily recognizable. And then for the nonprofits, it's that personal touch. Like if somebody's going to give you a lot of money or a lot of business, are you calling them to tell them thank you for that? Okay, those are things that you need to consider. So let me just check YouTube really quick and see if there's any questions coming up. All right, good. The other things that you can monitor that will add value, the frequent buyer programs, or just and the example I'm going to use here is Starbucks, how they go the extra mile with the details and their design. Same thing with Disney. That adds value to their activities because it draws in more customers. Everything is designed for kids. Okay. All right. So that's that. And if you have any questions about that, I am going to post these slides over to Moodle after once we're done. And I'm also happy to answer any questions about that. In the readings this week, it talks about the value chain or your network. So I'm just going to talk about this really quick. A value chain is a set of activities that delivers value to your customers, and it's where your competitive advantage resides. So there's two sets. This bottom half are your primary activities. Okay, so this is like a super short lesson on this, but if you go on to more of IVMF's trainings, you'll be able to hear more about this again. So your primary activities are here. They include inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and service. Let me scoot back one. Okay. The main thing with this is you need to know which of these that you're going to be really good at. If you're developing a product, it could be operations and your delivery. Are you getting it out on time? This can apply too also for those of you who are contractors. For those of you in the consulting industry, this is what's going to set you apart, your customer service. How well do you deliver it, and is it on time, and are people going to invite you back for more contracts? The main thing with the primary activities is that you just needed to choose 2 or 3 that you're going to be good at, and then these supporting activities I'll talk about in a little bit to show you how they support these primary activities. Okay, so that is that in a nutshell is the value chain, and what you need to do is start identifying what you're going to be good at and who are going to be your suppliers for all of this. Okay, the example I want to use again is Starbucks. Okay, their internal activities, I'm missing something here. Hold on one second. Okay, it didn't show up on here. The main thing is they are really well known for customer service. This is their value right here, and how they support that so that their associates can deliver excellent customer service is through their internal activities. They focus real heavily on training. What results out of all of this is that they have developed a really strong competitive advantage, and for them it leads to healthy returns. So this is what it looks like on their value chain right here. So again, this bottom half here are the primary activities, and they focus on providing a superior customer service. But in order for them to do that, they have to train everybody, and it all falls under the human resource management. Okay, so I hope that this makes sense. All right, let's talk about niches. Okay, we've spent a lot of time on this. This can be really hard to figure out unless you talk to your customers or you're part of those closed Facebook groups, and or you're part of your own market and you know exactly how people self-identify. If you go back to the slides from Office Hours 1, there is there's a link, a hyperlink to a video, and it kind of talks. It does talk about this. It's on the VetNet website, but a niche is a group of people who self-identify in various categories. So we are women entrepreneurs and military entrepreneurs. So that's our niche. We go to conferences like the ones through IVMF, as well as the Military Entrepreneur Program there's actually several of them, like Inc. 5000, the Patriot Tech Boot Camp. But see how we all fall under this? Okay, then you have your millennials. And if you were to target travelers, you would break this down even further to adventure seekers, wellness travelers, business travelers. So you want to figure out which niche you serve. Okay, it can be any of these. Just try and figure out, and this would be really helpful in the discussion forums if you can help each other figure out which niches you have seen who buy those products or services from your classmates. They can be baby boomers, gym goers, pet lovers. Okay, you guys get the idea, right? Okay, this niche I know really well, but once you get to your niche, you break it down even further because this is how you're going to target them when you start your marketing effort. So I'm an educator. So and we have several educators in this group. So who could you sell your products and services to? Teachers, school districts, after school programs, maybe daycare programs, charter schools, homeschoolers. See how you break it down even more? I think the one part I have the most trouble with are like the fashionistas and foodies. How can you break these down even more? So that's a great challenge for you guys to do in the discussion forums. All right. The last thing we're going to talk about, because they are an important part of your value chain, is the bail team. So bail as in they're going to bail you out of trouble. Not that you would ever be in trouble, but the bail with an I, okay? And this is your banker, accountant, insurance agent, and lawyer. So if you haven't already started thinking about who these people are, ask around and get referrals, okay? So like your banker, you can develop relationships with any banker in your town because they all have different different financial products to sell. Okay, that's not relationships. RELA. Let me spell this correctly. Okay, Neil Tarallo gives great stories about this, about how he has different bankers that he goes to because those loan officers have different products that they can give you, and they call him now because he's taken out more than one loan. He's paid it off. They know that he's a great he's a great candidate. There's an actual financial term for this, but he's somebody who's going to pay back his loan in a timely manner. He's a good credit risk. I think that's the right word. And so they actually call him out and they ask him for referrals. Who else could we call to give a loan to? And are you willing to help rehab these businesses? Accountants, this keeps coming up. You can have an accountant in any state that you want. I have one that's in New York that we've had for several years, but we knew when we interviewed him that he does taxes for retired military who live throughout the entire country. So ask around, get recommendations, and you might also not all accountants do bookkeeping, so you're going to have to see which one you want to use. Maybe you'll use a local bookkeeper, but maybe have an accountant from whoever you started with, where in whatever state that you started your business. Insurance agents, since everybody here is military, I'll just go ahead and say it. USAA does offer insurance products for small businesses. And what I did was I took my quote from them, and then my business counselor encouraged me to do this. We gave this to some of the local independent agents in the town, and they gave me a better product for the same rate. So make sure you shop around. And then for attorneys, there's different commercial products out there. And I can talk more about that when we're on the telephone conference. Okay, I don't want to promote one commercial product over the other. It's whatever works best for you. But just remember, Deanna's going to address this. I think in the third phase, you might have access to some legal services, but go and talk to the attorney while you're at the conference. Deanna, do you have anything you want to add about the legal services?
Yeah, so everyone as a graduate gets 50 free hours of legal advice from DLA Piper. It does take a couple of weeks to get set up properly. So once you request that service, and you'll be getting a booklet, it's a transition assistance program booklet that talks about all of the resources that you're that you have access to now that you're a graduate of the program, and how to access those resources. So you'll be connected with Elvis after phase 2. He's in charge of all of our alumni, and you just contact him, let him know what service you'd like. He sets you up, and it takes a couple of weeks for that request to go through with DLA Piper, to match you up with a lawyer that provides that service.
Yeah, do take advantage of that. I graduated from VWise a long time ago, and they didn't have all this. And then when I went through EBVF, I was able to access these resources. And I've gotten a lot of resources from IVMF, to include my logo and 2 federal trademarks based on their legal services. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to share with you the link. Hold on one second. The link to the Google Hangouts. Okay, so you guys are welcome to join me, and you can ask your questions live. Let me see if I can find this. Hold on one second. All right, here we go.
Sandra, we do have a question in the YouTube. How can we translate military careers, i.e. DoD federal procurement, to a niche?
How do you translate, where is that question? How do you translate procurement to a niche? Can you join me on Google Hangouts? I think I know who asked that question.
Yeah, how to translate your military careers, like working in federal government, procurement, into a niche. Yeah.
Do you have a specific niche for that? The example I'm going to use, like some people who go into contracting, their specific niche is in, I'm going to use a combat arms as an example, in certain weapon systems, those trainings, whatever it is. The best way to do this is if you can find a direct competitor and see how they're doing this. That'll give you a really good model right there. Let me read that question again so I can make sure I'm understanding this correctly. It's going to be based on your skill set. Can you tell me what it is that you did in the military specifically? And if you want to call me on my cell phone, if it's easier to talk about it that way, because the other thing I can do is look it up online. I can look up your discussions online. Yeah, even with the procurement, it's really going to be based on what it is, on your professional certifications, your degree. That's how you figure that out. Yes, it will be the type of procurement. And all I'm getting are your stage names here. So I'm going to see if I can find your real name on my Excel spreadsheet. Okay, do we have any other questions? Okay, this is a really good question. I know a lot of you who are doing either consulting or coaching, you're having a hard time narrowing it down. Okay, Wanda. All right, let me go. I'm going to pull up your discussions because it'll be easier for me to answer your question. This class has a lot of consultants, right? Like more so than the previous classes. So let me see if we can tailor this discussion to all of you. Okay, so Wanda, you do leadership training and grant writing. There's a lot that you can do. Okay, so Wanda, you do leadership training and grant writing. There's a lot that you can do. Okay, so why don't you do leadership training, grant writing, I'm gonna mute everybody's microphones as you come in. All right, here we go. All right, good. Wanda, if you can join us on the telephone conference line in about 15 minutes, I'll at least be able to hear you. Here, I'm going to type in my cell phone right here. And you can just call me and then we can talk about this online. Who else? While I'm waiting to hear from Wanda, who else has a question I can answer? Does this make sense? All right. So with procurement, there's a lot of ways to approach this. The first thing to do is go and visit your procurement technical assistance center, and they're going to walk you through the entire process. So let me type this in. If you just type in these words into your search engine, it's going to bring up a website. Let me see if I can find it. And then you can connect with a counselor directly. What they're going to have you do is start mapping out all of your NAICS codes, because you're going to need them to get registered into SAMS. But once you're in there, there are people who can help you find different procurement opportunities, either through your local military installation or well, mostly if you're going to do federal contracting, then they're going to connect you with people at the nearby military installations. So with procurement, let me talk about this. There are different types of procurement. So there's federal contracting, okay, and then you can also do business with Fortune 500 companies or any company that allows you, that are looking to do business with small businesses, do business with I'm just going to write Fortune 500 companies because they all have on their websites. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Go back to the Hangout. All right, here we go. I'm going to type in MetLife. I actually went to a conference with Bunker Labs, and they had a MetLife representative there, and they talked us through the process of doing business with them. So once you get to this point, let me just type it in here. MetLife, because you can do this with any company. MetLife, do business, procurement. That's a word. Procurement, small businesses. Because you're not just limited to the government. You all have specialized skills where you could do business with any company, basically. You just need to know how to get to those buyers. So once you're actually here, is this it? Small Business Solutions. Somewhere in here there's going to be a page for how to get started doing business with them. Let me use Firefox. It's just a little bit easier to use. Now I'm going to do the same thing for Walmart too. Okay, let's start with, let's go ahead and do Walmart. Some of you have products. Doing business with. Okay, becoming a supplier. It's called the Supplier Diversity Program. Deanna, if you can type that into the chat room, those are the words that you want to look for. So here's the example for Walmart, and then they walk you through it. Apply to be a supplier. They were actually at the IVMF had a Veteran Edge conference back in February, and they were there, and there's going to be a big conference for those who are looking to do business with Walmart, and you can learn how to get your products on their shelves or the shelves of Sam's. Okay, so anyway, this is where that's at. For those of you who want to do government contracting, I'm going to type in the, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. There's one in every state, Most of them are called P-tax, but some of them may be called something else. But once you get to this site, then you just click on your state, and it's going to walk you through the process. The advantage of this is that you have a counselor who can help you from step one all the way until you're registered, and then connects you with different people within the state who can help you get a contract. And that registration process alone, I mean, if I had done that by myself, it would have taken me 2 to 3 hours. Me working with the specialist, it only took him an hour because he knew where everything was at. So that's how you can get started here, and they'll also be able to tell you after listening to your business idea exactly where you fall under. Okay, so I hope that part helps. And then the other sources for contracting or for procurement in general, I'm going to write FedBid right here. So if you have a product or service, this is how people can find you. This is reverse auctioning. So Megan, even with your acupuncture business, I would still put it on here because it's people are looking for pain relief, and it's either that or a chiropractor. Insurance is starting to cover different alternative therapies, so that's a way where people can find you. So there's FedBid and then the GSA schedule. So instead of searching for a contract, instead of spending a lot of time searching for a contract, let people find you through these. And that all starts by going through your PTAC. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let me find YouTube really quick and see if anybody has any questions. Are there any questions coming up so far?
Sandra, I just figured I'd say something right here since we're kind of talking about procurement. We actually started a new program called Vet Source. We have run two of them. At Veteran Edge, we ran one of them, and then we ran one about 6 months prior to that in Norfolk, Virginia. And we're going to be taking it across the country. And hopefully, as we gear up for, we're looking to have another one in the fall. We don't know the exact location yet. And then every year after, hopefully 3 to 4 each year. And it's strictly for procurement. So being a graduate of the program, pay attention to the newsletters that we send out. And then if we have a vet source coming in an area, we always do a search of our graduates and send a specific email out to our graduates to let them know of an event coming up in their area. So I just kind of wanted to get that out on the recording. It's called Vet Source, VETSOURCE. I'll put it in the chat, but it is another program. You actually don't have to be a graduate to attend that program. It's a brand new program for people just looking to, join, any IVMF program. And it's strictly procurement.
Good, super. I really enjoyed getting to meet with the people in charge of those programs when we were in Austin together for the Veteran Edge conference. What you specifically want to do is talk to the local buyers in your area, whether it's Sam's or Walmart, and see whether it's something that you can get onto their shelves. If you are a service company and you're wanting to do business with them, that might be a little bit trickier, but you just need to talk to those people and build those relationships. And they may not be the right ones based on your service, okay? Because I was there were other people in my industry there, and we were not what they needed. They needed people who could maintain facilities, do a little bit of construction. So it really depends on who it is that you're talking to, okay? All right, good. Who else has a question? We have about 10 more minutes before we move to the telephone conference line. I'm going to type this into the chat room right now. If you are going to join us on the phone conference line, dial in using the phone number that was provided on the first page of Moodle, but I also want to be able to share my screen on Zoom. So it's zoom.us. I don't think you had to download something, Natasha. Did you have to download the program when we did that last week? No. Okay, good. So all you need to do is go to zoom.us. I'm going to give you the code 305 289 5580. And that is for Zoom. So when you get to Zoom, after you've called in with the telephone number, then just punch in the code I just put, 305-289-5580. And then you'll be able to see my screen. You'll still be able to see me. And then if we need to map anything out with your company, your concept, that's a great way for us to do that. It's just a lot easier because most people learn better visually. Okay, good, good, very good. Keep asking me questions. We have what? We have 9 minutes. Is that right? What is covered in the call? We're just going to continue this conversation. A lot of times people feel more comfortable speaking on the phone, especially when the office hours aren't being recorded. So it's kind of like a free for all because you will get to be able to hear all of your classmates. So it's really nice. And I can keep talking about whatever it is that you guys want me to talk about. Sometimes it's just easier to provide some clarity to your concept if I can diagram it out for you. It's also easier for me to understand and give you some feedback if I can see exactly what you're doing. And the best way for us to do that is just to map it out. Okay. For those of you who joined us last week for that, did that help at all? All right. What other questions can we cover? Okay, Natasha, thank you. You definitely need to be marketing your services on FedBid or GSA schedule. It's only a matter of time. Everybody has to wear headgear. And also for you, Natasha, I thought about anybody who wears a uniform, including chefs and just people outside of the military, because there's the same need for those women, and not just women, but men as well. So that could be something, in the future that you could manufacture to or cater to those people. All right, good. What else can we talk about? Somebody has a meeting with the SBA on Wednesday. Yay! I am so excited that you are connecting with your business counselors. Keep doing that. Remember, this course is going to end on Friday. Just keep turning in your discussion forums. I will be grading those not just this week, but also towards the end of next week because it takes me a long time to get through 170 students. And that doesn't include all the posts. So do connect with your local business counselors. They will be your earliest advisors, and keep networking and finding industry experts so that they can also be advisors to you as well. All right, is there anything else? The call. Yes, Savage, or okay, good. Thanks, Deanna, for answering that. The meeting ID for Zoom, I'm going to keep putting it in, is 305 289 and then 5580. Okay, what else can I answer for you? Are you all figuring out your niche and how they self-identify? Again, this is all going to depend on your industry. If you're part of your own market, it's so much easier. But if you're starting a company, a business in a new market, then you're really going to have to research it. Okay, so here are some tricks. For my homeschool market, they primarily buy from trade shows. It's all word of mouth. So when I go to these trade shows, I have on a little piece of paper. I do everything on Microsoft Word. I get their email. I ask them a few questions on the piece of paper, and then on the paper it also says, click here if you do not want emails from me. And then when they filled it out, they can register to win a Visa gift card. So guess what? I've gotten their email. I've already done a needs assessment, so I know what topics they're interested in, which means that's how I'm going to design my products and services. And then I take all those emails, I put them in an Excel spreadsheet, and then I upload it to Facebook, and I create a lookalike audience. So based on all that, just that limited amount of information, it creates lookalike audiences. And even if I don't know the niche they're part of, those algorithms match it for me. Okay, so that's why you want to do this kind of marketing. It's this research is primary and secondary research. Is going to help you reach your customers. It's just going to take them some time to find you. All right, what other questions do we have here? Okay, we have about 4 more minutes. What else can I cover for you? Let me see. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about here, or just type it into the chat room and I can start answering it. Who do we have on this on office hours with us? Wanda, I hope I answered your question. And if not, let's keep working on it. Let me see. We have 3 minutes. I'm still going to stay on here, and let me share my screen again. All right, here, let's bring up PowerPoint. Let's talk about niche markets. Sometimes if you can't figure out your niche, in some industries, what they'll do is they will just, they'll do it based on the product. So who here is, let's talk about the beauty industry, because I'm doing this for somebody right now. What they do is they divide everything up based on the product. So let's say age fighting products, moisturizers, all that. Then you have color cosmetics. What else is on here? Maybe you have specialized services or the personal, the makeovers. So you basically, what you need to do is figure out who are using these things. What are your demographics? Okay, so age fighting, let's say women from 35 plus, and they make over, we'll make this the higher end beauty products. So for this group, 35 plus, they make 35,000 or more a year, and they're willing to spend what, $500? I'm just making up these numbers. Anyway, $500 a year for cosmetics. When you start adding all of this up, it'll give you it's going to give you the size of your market. So this is one way to do it. If you can't figure out who exactly, if you can't describe your niche with just 1 or 2 words. Now, for those of you in procurement, we're going to do the same thing. Let's say, and Wanda, let me pull your example up. Okay, so because you have a lot of things going on here. I'm going to say for your grant writing, you're going to have small businesses or entrepreneurs. Yeah, small businesses. And then we're also going to put nonprofits in here. Okay, do you see how I'm dividing this up? If you can start mapping it out this way, it's just going to give you an idea of who to target. Leadership training, you're going to start with medium to large scale businesses, because your small businesses are not going to be able to afford this. Okay, it may be an entrepreneur going on their own, but they're probably not going to pay for their employees. Okay, is this starting to make sense? For those of you who are in the holistic healthcare space, let me see if this brings it up. Okay, Megan's on here, so I'm going to go ahead and use her example of acupuncture. So let's say she's not sure yet of who this market is, but let's go ahead and talk about where she can market to them. She's going to go to the health food stores. She's going to go to people who practice this already, chiropractors, because this is all in their space, and then other physician offices who can refer them back to her. Okay, and then she's going to track exactly who the demographics of her customers, age, gender, profession, And then she's also going to track how many times, this is called how many times they keep coming back to her, that repeat business. This is called the lifetime value of a customer. Okay. But she'll get all this information over time as she tracks this. But the main thing is she needs to know where she's going to get these referrals from. Okay, so I hope this is making sense. We are out of time on the Hangout. So what I'm going to do is end this call, and I want you all to join me on the telephone conference. All right. This is our last set of office hours that are online. So if you have any questions between now and Friday, please reach out to me either on the Ask the Expert forum or just via email. This is my last chance to get to interact with the class live. So I encourage you, if you are just joining us now, to join us on the telephone conference. All right. I will see you guys all in a little bit, and talk to you all soon. Bye for now.